After 45 years of wandering into the abyss, Voyager, one of humanity's farthest and loneliest machines, just did something no one expected. It veered back. Not physically, no, but the data it sent carried something unmistakable. A reflection, a loop, a disruption that suggests it may have encountered something so alien and unaccounted for that even the spacecraft's ancient systems briefly became confused. And there was neither a system flaw nor an error code. It was a whisper from the edge of space, one that matched the fear scientists had buried for years. Voyager may first have crossed a boundary that wasn't supposed to exist, and in doing so, it may have confirmed that we were never truly alone in the dark. What did it detect out there? What does it mean for Earth? And why are some at NASA beginning to question the structure of space itself beyond the heliopause? Let's begin the descent into the unknown. In 1977, with nothing but vintage tech and cosmic ambition, two spacecraft were launched. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 were supposed to last 4 years. Instead, they became immortals. While every other machine humanity has ever sent beyond Earth has long been silenced or shattered, the Voyagers kept moving, past Jupiter, past Saturn, beyond the outer planets, and then into something never touched before, interstellar space. Their memory? Just 69 kilobytes. Their processor? Weaker than a modern calculator. Yet they managed to get around, using gravity assists like acrobats in a silent void, slingshotting to the gas giants and beaming back data on moons, rings, magnetic fields, and plasma waves. Over time, engineers turned off heaters, cameras, and even scientific instruments. Each shut down a small memorial service for a mission component. But still, Voyager 1 spoke. Until recently, when its voice changed. For years, scientists believed in the heliopause, the boundary where our sun's influence ends and the galaxy truly begins. In 2012, Voyager 1 crossed it at a distance of 120 astronomical units from Earth. But when it did, something unexpected happened. The magnetic field didn't change. The particle density rose, yes, but the field's direction remained strangely consistent. That shouldn't have happened. Voyager 2, years later, experienced the same. This shattered every model we had. And despite NASA's attempts to align the data, something darker began to emerge. According to the readings, the interstellar medium wasn't behaving as expected. It was dense where it should have been sparse. It was calm where it should have been tumultuous. And worst of all, the magnetic patterns looked eerily structured, as if shaped by something. Not random. Something intentional. Then, in early 2024, Voyager 1 sent a transmission that shook the deep space network. It wasn't noise. It was structureless, but patterned. The data stream included corrupted telemetry, repeated codes, and inexplicable resets. For weeks, NASA believed the spacecraft had suffered a memory failure. But when backup systems were activated, the same transmission continued, even from subsystems never programmed to send that kind of data. Engineers called it a reflection loop, a signal returning from a void, altered in a way Voyager couldn't have generated on its own. Off the record, a veteran analyst described it like this: shouting into a canyon that shouldn't exist, and hearing your own voice warped by someone else's breath. Some feared an internal failure. Others began considering a disturbing alternative. Voyager had entered a region of space where its signals were being bent, or answered. Scientists dove into the corrupted signals, mapping them against cosmic ray patterns, plasma wave surges, and solar wind decay. What they found was chilling. The interference aligned perfectly with a sudden spike in galactic cosmic ray particles. Particles that should have been deflected by the heliosphere, yet now surged as if directed. Even more troubling, an anomaly in the magnetic field appeared. A twist, a kink, something that shouldn't be there. It was as if Voyager 1 had passed through a membrane, and what lay beyond was reacting. Some suggested a pocket of dense interstellar plasma. Others whispered of non-natural field-shaping constructs, ideas previously reserved for science fiction. But one truth emerged that all teams agreed upon. The laws we believe govern space don't hold past the heliopause. Voyager's transmissions, once predictable, had become strange. Intelligent? Maybe not. But deliberate? Possibly. And in that possibility lies the fear. Because if this isn't just space, what else is out there? After weeks of decoding, NASA finally released a heavily redacted statement about the Voyager 1 anomaly. They confirmed partial signal restoration, but refused to elaborate on the repeated data loops or the origin of the tampered-with telemetry. Behind closed doors, however, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory had already convened a classified task force, pulling in experts from AI signal processing, quantum field theory, and astrophysics weighed in. One internal source leaked that the transmission contained non-random patterns of oscillation at various frequencies, beyond what Voyager 1 should be able to emit. In layman's terms, something in deep space was either distorting the signal or piggybacking on it. Even more troubling was the timing. The distortions began just after Voyager passed through a sudden drop in cosmic radiation, something that should have no bearing on the spacecraft's internal software. But what if something external had temporarily shielded it, or worse, examined it? With the signal mystery unresolved, theoretical physicists began to dig into Voyager's trajectory and environmental data. What they found was deeply unsettling. The spacecraft's path showed minute but consistent deviations that could not be attributed to gravitational pull from known celestial bodies. Some postulated interactions with dark matter. Others suggested gravitational lensing by an unidentified object. Only one model, buried in a private research paper, proposed something far stranger: the presence of a space-time distortion. Not a wormhole, and not a black hole. Something new, like a boundary in the structure of the universe itself. A place where information loops, matter responds differently, and time behave erratically. If true, it would mean Voyager 1 had not only reached farther, it had crossed into a different regime of reality. A space in the universe where our laws of motion, light, and energy begin to break down, and maybe where something else operates under a completely different set of rules. What further enhanced this chilling discovery was what began happening to Voyager 2. Though millions of miles apart, both spacecraft began displaying synchronized anomalies, small changes in signal timing, radiation exposure, and magnetic field direction. Despite their differences, these occurred in parallel positions. Statistically, it shouldn't be possible. The chances of both craft encountering identical disturbances in unrelated regions of space bordered on impossible. Unless, of course, they weren't unrelated. Unless there's something encompassing both. A massive structure, invisible to our eyes and instruments, interacting with both Voyagers simultaneously. This sparked renewed speculation that what the Voyagers had reached wasn't just a region, it was a perimeter. And if there's a perimeter, there might be a center. And something at the center might have just noticed a knock. As more data was processed, a shift began to take hold, not in the numbers, but in the conversations. Scientists who once dismissed artificiality now hesitated. Engineers who had spent decades maintaining the Voyagers admitted. The behavior wasn't mechanical. It was responsive, and slowly, a disturbing consensus began to form in whisper networks and back-channel meetings. Voyager may first have encountered intelligence, not in the cinematic sense of message or spacecraft, but in the subtle shaping of environment, engineering on a scale too vast to comprehend. The reflections of signals, the magnetic distortions, the synchronized anomalies, all suggested intervention, or at the very least, manipulation. What if Voyager wasn't just drifting anymore? What if it had been incorporated into someone else's experiment? Someone who's been waiting, patiently, for us to reach just far enough to be noticed? Musical note. For 45 years, Voyager 1 was our silent ambassador to the stars, an aging, drifting fragment of human will. Wrapped in gold and binary, it carried our sounds, our greetings, and our hope that something out there might one day listen. But we never expected an answer. Not like this. Because Voyager hasn't just reached the edge of space. It has pierced something older, stranger, and far more intentional than anyone imagined. A region where time twists, physics trembles, and signals reflect. A place that does not behave like the rest of the cosmos. A place that watches back. And when Voyager sent that distorted signal, that looping cry across the void, it wasn't a malfunction. It was a response. The kind that doesn't need words. The kind that says, "We've seen you." Now, scientists can debate the anomaly's nature. They can twist and analyze the patterns, refine the models, redact the reports. but they cannot alter the basic truth. Voyager confirmed something we weren't ready to face, that the edge of our solar system might not even be the edge. It may be a door, and someone or something just cracked it open. If this shook you, if it made your skin crawl with the impression that the universe just grew smaller and darker at the same time, don't let this story vanish into static. Subscribe to this channel. We chase the signals others fear to hear. Switch on notifications, because Voyager may first not be done speaking yet. Share this video with someone who still believes deep space is silent. Comment below. Do you believe that Voyager discovered something, or that something discovered Voyager?